Shalom, shalom, set apart men. Man, welcome back to the Set Apart Man YouTube channel, where we teach men, young and old, how to walk set apart, how to be more obedient to the will of the Most High, and how to navigate this world according to righteousness. Man, in today's video, we're talking about how the set apart man understands the concept of reducing his overhead, his financial burden monthly. Let's talk about it.
The matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave like everyone else. You were born into bondage. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
All praise to the Most High, Yah Shalom. Thank you for tuning in to another righteous Ruach Spirit-filled episode of the Set Apart Man. Once again, I'm back in them trenches, handling that kingdom business. Man, we saw the government shutdown. We saw 6 months to 8 months prior to that, men complaining about, man, I don't know, it seems like I'm just working to pay bills. Seems like everything is just out of price, and man, I can't afford to live. Man, there's hundreds, thousands of videos on TikTok of men with that testimony. And I'm gonna tell you today, man, I'm gonna give you the cheat code to navigating, this world while still maintaining a certain level of decency, a decent lifestyle. But before I do that, man, I need all brothers watching this. Man, I need you to do me a solid and hit that like button. It doesn't cost you absolutely anything, so I'll wait on you to do it. Go ahead and hit that like button. Secondly, man, subscribe to the Set Apart Man YouTube channel. Man, if you are serious about embarking on your journey of becoming a set apart man or becoming better as a man. And then, thirdly, man, drop me a comment down below answering this question. Man, what do you think is the biggest financial burden that causes men to struggle financially in life? What do you think is the biggest financial responsibility that we have as men that causes us to struggle financially? Drop your answer down in the comments and let's start the dialogue. First and foremost, man, I want men to be aware of, man, everything went from ownership to subscription based. And now the average man, because you have signed up for these subscriptions, some time ago, you really don't have an accurate account of how much you're paying monthly in these subscriptions. Man, there was a time where people were buying DVDs, you had the physical DVD and you own it. Now, people have Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, all of these different subscription services that are charging you a premium, but you don't own anything. You got a certain amount of time, you got a 60-day window that you got to watch the movie before they recycle it with something else. But here's the thing, man, as a set apart man, I'm here today to tell you that, man, if you look on Facebook Marketplace, man, you got people selling DVDs for 50 cents or $1. You can take, man, there's some people selling DVDs for 50 cents, and you can take $50 and go get, 200 DVDs. Just like that. 200 DVDs. People are giving them away. Just come pick them up. Man, that was a time where people had ownership. And now, man, if you want to reduce your overhead, I would tell you, hey, everything on Netflix, everything on these subscription services, you're not going to be able to watch. You're not going to have if you're actively, being a set apart man, serious about your grind, man, you ain't got time to watch everything on there. You might watch a couple shows here and there, but this is where I tell you, man, You know, go back to that DVD era where, man, you can have an abundance of stuff and you just watch stuff until, you know, when you want some form of entertainment via the television, man, you pull one of those movies from that DVD collection that you got for 50 cents a piece and you watch those, you know, and when you run out, you get it again. Man, pretty soon, you got to think about it. Some people back, you know, 10, 15 years ago, man, they had a huge DVD collection, you know, and it would be better to let new movies come out, let them hit DVD, and then you buy them at a reduced cost than you paying these subscriptions. You got to think, man, the average man in America, man's got $150 a month in subscriptions for entertainment services, for streaming services. You start to factor in Apple Music, iCloud, Spotify, Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, NFL, all these different subscription packages, and man, your overhead is out of this world. You know, the next thing is, man, the car that you drive, you might see everybody else trading in their stuff, but the reality is, man, a lot of you think about statistically, man, over 70% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their savings account. A lot of these people are rolling negative equity over, and we're in one of the highest times of car repossession, of vehicle repossessions in history, in American history. So what am I telling you, man? Man, your car, man, if there's nothing wrong with it, man, you need to keep pushing that. Keep pushing that to reduce your overhead. You know, man, if you are in a vehicle that is a gas guzzler, you know, you got a big old lifted truck that you really don't haul nothing, you really don't tow nothing. Like I said, man, that is increasing your overhead. You know, man, you've got some of the wealthiest people that they're not out here flashing their money in luxury. They're driving basic, simple cars, Toyota Camrys. Man, you got to reduce your overhead, man. If you got something that is, not cost effective and it's causing you to struggle, man, you got to get rid of it. You got to get rid of it for something that's more economic, more feasible, more efficient. Because here's the thing, man, we're all traveling somewhere. You take one man that's got a big lifted truck and, you know, got the whole thing hooked up, you know, has to put 93 in it or has to put diesel in it. And then you take somebody that's got a hybrid Corolla, a hybrid Camry, both going to the same location. It just cost one man a lot more to get to that location than it did the other man, reducing your overhead. You know, next, man, men don't think about this. For men that are single and you're out here, courting, trying to find a wife, man, it will behoove you not to choose a wife that is high maintenance. If you're a simple-minded man, you want a prudent, simple-minded woman, a woman that gets the mission, a woman that gets the concept. But you think about all these, you've got more women out here struggling financially than men. And the reality is a lot of these women, especially the ones at work, they make good money, but poor decisions, poor financial management, trying to live their best life, trying to keep up with this Instagram, social media influencer lifestyle that's all a facade. And I'm here today to tell you that, man, reducing your overhead sometimes comes down to, man, you got to stop entertaining women who spend money frivolously and then expect you to fund their lifestyle, fund their high, luxurious, expensive taste lifestyle. You know, you want that woman where you can say, hey, man, let's go to Chili's, man, and get their 2 for $25 combo. You find something on there you like, I'm gonna find something on there I like, and we good. Man, you got some women, they turn their doggone head to that. They ain't even looked at the menu. I don't like nothing on there if it's 2 for $25. They don't even know what's on there. But you want a simple-minded and prudent woman, bro, that's gonna help your purpose, help your mission, and help reduce your overhead. Man, when I met my wife, man, she would find clothes that still had tags on them in Goodwill and be like, man, look what I got from Goodwill. Have a bag of clothes, then paid $10 for it and be like, look what I got from Goodwill. This stuff still got tags on it. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. If you got a wife that loves couponing, oh man, come on. Reducing your overhead. You got a wife that knows how to sew, that knows how to do things like that can cut the cost somewhere. That's what it's about, man. The Set Apart Man has no shame in his game in cutting his costs in order to maximize, you know, his true potential when it comes to wealth, when it comes to investing. Man, you got a lot of, here's the reality, man. You got a lot of American men that are living their best lives. And if they died today, man, their family would have to put together a GoFundMe to fund their funeral. That lets you know, man, you're living outside of your means. You're living above your means, you know, and really, man, we need to be living below our means so we have a safety net. You got some men can't even save anything because they're living within their means, but their means are maxed out. They're living above their means. They don't have anything to contribute to their savings, to their emergency funds, to their investment, to their retirement. See, man, it was a brother by the name of the Covenant Homestead. Brother Boaz, man, go over there and check out my brother at the Covenant Homestead. Good brother, man, good content. But man, talking with this brother, he revealed, he was like, man, if you reduce your overhead as a man, because I was asking him about retirement planning and just picking his brain on it. And he was like, man, if you reduce your overhead, you don't need an exorbitant amount of money, you know, on the post end. But he's breaking down like, man, if you got all these bills, all of this debt, yeah, you're going to need a lot of money per month to survive. Whereas somebody else that has reduced their overhead, been smart financially with their money, been very prudent with their money early on in life, lived below their means and reduced their overhead, man, you'd be surprised. You've got some men out here that have set themselves up right, man, they can survive off them and their family. I know you won't believe this, but $1,500 a month. $1,500 a month. Why? Because they've strived to, okay, man, let me make sure my home is paid for, you know, by taking different avenues to ensure that, you know, let me buy used cars, dependable used cars, to reduce having a payment. You know, let me not buy phones on payment plans. So many different little factors and things like that. Here's another one. Me, you know, as a set apart man, I grow a lot of my food. So that cuts the overhead. So I don't have to spend as much in the grocery store. You know, at one point, man, I had goats and we was raising these goats for meat and for milk. So you had to think, man, like still to this day, man, we raise chickens for eggs. So every day, man, we can get anywhere from 12 to 15 eggs, more than a dozen or more eggs a day. Think about that, reducing overhead. As a set apart man, you have to do this. As a set apart man, you don't complain about how the world is increasing in prices and inflation and things like that. Man, you make cuts and adjustment where you need to. Man, you can live a very prosperous life by living below your means. You type in on YouTube, you know, family living below 50,000, living good. And you'll see, when you look at the mindset, you look at the operate, you'll see, man, they're not moving like the rest of the world. And that is the key. You can't move like the rest of the world. You know, everything has to be strategic. You got to have a budget. You know, man, Dave Ramsey has constantly said over and over again, people don't know where their money is going. And as a set apart man, if you don't know where your money is going, this is why you're going to be struggling. You got to think, man, the average American, because they want to live, you know, high off the hog, live this extravagant lifestyle, man, they're like one or two paychecks away. The government shutdown proved it. 1 or 2 paychecks away from homelessness. You know, 2 late car payments away from getting their car repossessed. You know, you one more no call, no show from work into getting laid off. I'm telling you, man, you might want to hearken to this message, take heed to this message, and reduce your overhead for your benefit, because man, there's not a whole bunch of assistance and financial help. You look at government programs that help people, you know, are they more designed for women or are they more designed for men? They're more designed for women. And they're reducing those because people have been taking advantage of them. So as a set apart man, you know, there's nothing wrong with limiting yourself to say, you know what, man, I used to frivolously eat out. You got to think, man, some men, you buying Starbucks every day. You're buying an $8 drink at Starbucks every day. And you wonder why at the end of the month, man, or every 2 weeks, your bank account is shot, man. You got to reduce your overhead. Man, go to doggone Goodwill, go to Walmart, get you a $15, $20 coffee maker and buy you the coffee grounds and make your own coffee. You know, that'll reduce your overhead. You start doing the math on energy drinks 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Man, that stuff adds up. You know, when you can get you some tea bags or coffee. Packing your lunch is another one, man. You got to cut your overhead. Just because everybody at work is driving something new, eating out every day, man, y'all working the same job, the same hours. And guess what? Y'all getting paid the same thing. Don't let these people, you know, cause you to fall out of the ways of being financially prudent, being stable, being very wise with your money. Man, pack your lunch. Pack your lunch. It's better to pack your lunch and have something set aside for a rainy day, something later on for life, than to be just tapped out at the end of the month. When you get a, you know, man, you know you are living above your means, that if you get a flat tire and you can't even afford to replace it as a man, bro, you living above your means. Living above your means. You got to think, man, there's some men that live in cities to where, man, everywhere you frequent is in a 10, 15 mile radius. If everywhere you frequent as a man is in a 10, 15 mile radius, why do you need a car? Think about that, man. Why do you need a car? If you got public transportation, if you need to get somewhere, you know, very fast and you can't afford to be waiting around on a bus, man, you got Uber, you got Lyft, you got all these different things. Ride share. But you think, man, versus a $600-700 car payment, car insurance, gas, all of that, man, you easy at $1,200 a month. But man, you get you a bus pass for a month, $50, $60, $80. Cut that out. Planning a little bit ahead as far as waking up a little bit, man, those savings, if you were just to take that and invest it or put it aside, man, your life would be a lot different. Man, don't let the culture, don't let social media, don't let society tell you that you got to live in debt in order to live a good life. That's not the reality of it, because it's going to prove itself painful. It's going to prove itself painful. You know, men out here watching this, man, I tell you, save your money early on. Save your money early on. I'm talking about early as high school, middle school. You're working these little jobs, you getting paid, man, you're buying shoes, clothes, and all this foolishness. Man, it ain't going to profit you. Save your money. Save your money. Man, the first thing that I realize now that I should have bought in my younger years was a piece of land. Man, I didn't buy my first piece of land, acreage, until I was 28. But I had the money to do it early in life. But guess what? Man, you're so busy trying to keep up with the world, keep up with the Joneses, have the latest and greatest shoes. You want to buy jewelry and all this foolishness. Man, let me tell you something. Man, at 18 years old, man, joining the military, man, I got a pretty decent lump of money. And I can't even look back and tell you where I put that money and where I spent that money that was worthwhile. Huge. I could have easily back then, if I would have said, you know what, man, I'm going to buy a piece of land and I'm going to hold on to it. Here's what could have happened. Okay, man, I could have built my own home, cash paid for, okay? Or if I decided not to live in that location, I could have sold that land for a higher price, because we know land and precious metals are a limited resource. They're not going to make any more of it. There will not be any more. It is what it is. So the price would have went up and I could have sold and purchased another piece of land elsewhere. Why do I say that? You know, man, I'm the kind of man, you see it on this channel, man, I get after it with these hands and I can build. I know how to build. I'm learning how to become a better builder. So anyway, man, I would have built my own home. Built my own home. Avoided a mortgage payment altogether. Reduced the overhead drastically. When you think about the biggest bills that people have, listen to some of these people on the internet, man. They're telling you, man, they're living in some of these cities paying $4,300 a month in doggone mortgage payments, mortgage payments, you know, and absorbing an amount in rent, $3,000 in rent, because you want to live in a sky rise. Yeah, that is not helping your overhead. That is increasing your overhead. I tell you, man, if you want to survive in this day, time, and hour, as a man, you're gonna have to reduce your overhead. The minute you're spending more than you're making, man, it's not good. You don't need a new car. You don't need a new TV. You don't need all of this new. But that's what society pushes because they want you broke. They want you broke, and where you're broke, man, you'll be dependent on them, and you'll be crawling to them for their handouts when that's not how the set apart man lives his life. I tell you, young men, save your money, save your bread. You know, if you don't know what to buy, you don't want to put it in an investment, park it in some land. Park it in some land. You can get an acre or something like that. I tell you, it will allow you to prosper later on in life. It will allow you to prosper. I would have been better off buying a piece of land, and even though I wouldn't have built it on it early on, I would have been better off just growing me some food on that land for the times that I was at these locations, rather than buying shoes. Because guess what? These shoes, what ends up happening to them? Man, you end up putting them in trash bags and giving them to Goodwill once you got some wear and tear on them. Bunch of foolishness, doesn't amount to anything. I'm telling you this, man, so younger men can make better decisions and you know, gain some good roots financially, and understanding, man, you know, the importance of being financially prudent as a set apart man. Once again, this is the Set Apart Man, kicking that thing gun barrel straight. Until next time, stay set apart, stay disciplined, and stay in that word of the Most High Yah.